But I see you, honey. This is in no way funny. We will find our way back together. But right now, there's stormy weather. This in no way funny. We will find our way back together. But right now, there's stormy.
Hi everyone, here I am on a very rainy summer afternoon down on the Thames foreshore, getting very, very wet indeed. But I'm going away tomorrow, and so I won't get the chance to come down here for a while, so I thought I have to come out, whatever the weather. So I've come down to see what I can find. Hopefully we'll find some good bits and pieces. And the good thing about it raining is that the visibility is really good. The rain has just washed all the mud nice and clean, so hopefully we'll find some good little treasures. Let's go and see. There's a little patch here which has drawn my attention for some reason. There's a few things that I want to look at, like this. Now I hope this isn't a big piece of ammunition. Let's have a look. I don't think it is. I'm not quite sure what it is though. But I'm pretty certain that that is not a piece of ordnance, which when I initially spotted it, I thought that it could be. Does anybody know what this is? Few washers, some pottery, very neatly cut, isn't it? Do you know, that looks as if it could be the top of a sugar cone mould with the hole there that the sugar dripped through, or something like that anyway. Further investigation required, and I know just the person to ask. Richard Hammery will know the answer to that. Oh, the weather's getting worse and worse, but bear with me because, you know, we can't just go mudlarking in the sun. We have to go in the rain as well. And look what's here. It's a little button. And does it have a maker on there? Yeah, I think it does. It could be Pentonville, I think, Pentonville Road. Let's have a closer look at that later in the dry. And actually, I've just seen another button here. I do love my button finds, particularly as they've got a maker to research on them. And I think we might be lucky here as well. What I can see down here, it's a little pipe bowl, nice pipe bowl from the 1700s. Welcome to the rainy summertime, piebald. Oh. Oh. There's no pole on the end. I wonder if it's underneath the mud. Shall we take a look? Shall we have a look? I don't think so. I don't think it is. I can see a couple of other possibilities though. Shall we check them out? Look, there's the end of a stem here. So let's see. Ah no, I can tell there's nothing on that one. Nope, 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 nothing there. There's also signs of a stem here. So let's check this one out. Will it be third time lucky? No, it won't. It will not be third time lucky. But will it be fourth time lucky? I think this is a bit of clay pipe here. Oh yes, I think it could be. Let's take a look. Come on out. Ah, there it is. All blackened from centuries in the mud. Come on out and say hello. I wonder if the day that this pipe was thrown away, it was a gloriously hot summer's day, or was it pouring down with rain? I found a shoe very similar to this the other day. It could even be the other one of the pair by the looks of it. I'm not going to take it, but I just wanted to point out to you again the beautiful copper nails here. We will leave that for somebody else. I've got enough shoes at home, I think. This. That's definitely got something on there, hasn't it? I think so. Something cycle car. Or maybe recycle. Or cycle cab. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, that's one to research. And look what we've got here, a really tasty little piece of Staffordshire slipwell. I've just spotted down here, again I hear you say, a little piece of pipe stem. But what I love about it is the maker's mark. And if you look there, you can see that on either side of the heel there is a stamp, and instead of the maker's initials he's put a crown. Now this would have dated to the 1700s, I'm pretty certain, and so that would be a Georgian crown. is particularly nice. So always check your pipe stems. You never know what you might find on them. It's amazing to think that this is so old, several hundred years old, and that little stamp is still in such good condition. Well, hi everyone, thank you very much for watching my video, and from the rainy foreshore in London by the Thames to sunny Sark, which is one of the Channel Islands. It's actually known as the jewel of the Channel Islands, and Sark is pretty small. It's got about 480 inhabitants, and it's quite unique in that it's got its own set of laws and its own parliament. So it's a really special place. I've come here for the day with my stepdad and my mum Anita and stepdad Peter, and we're taking a look around the island. I'm going to show you a few of the places afterwards, but I thought I could do my roundup from here. So I'm just going to talk about a few objects. The first one I want to mention is my favourite find, and it's this plaque there, and on it it says GN cycle car. So what is a cycle car? Well, a cycle car is a cross between a bicycle and a motor car, and GN cycle cars were manufactured in Britain, in London actually, between 1910 and 1925. So the G in the end stands for H.R. Gordon and Archibald Nash. They were the designers. So this lovely plaque here, which I've now polished up slightly, would have presumably been maybe on the dashboard or something. I'm not quite sure. It's got the chassis number and the engine number. So engine number 1247 and chassis number 1247. If any of you out there know if it's possible to actually find out exactly what model of cycle car it was, then please do let me know in the comments below. That would be really, really helpful. And one interesting thing relating to Sark is that you can't have any cars on Sark. They are completely forbidden. There are no cars at all. They are just tractors, bicycles, and horse and carts. The next object I'm going to mention that I found that day on the rainy foreshore is this button here. Now, two of the other buttons that I found did not have a maker on them, but this one does, and it's J. Chapman of Pentonville. I always love it when there's a maker on a button because you can sometimes find out about the person who owned a tailor's or an outfitter. But this one, I kind of drew a blank. I couldn't find a J. Chapman in Pentonville. Now, Pentonville is in London. This tailor or outfitter could have been in Pentonville Street or in the general area of Pentonville. But Pentonville is also famous for something else, and that is Pentonville Prison, which is still going today, but it was actually built in 1842. It was a notorious Victorian prison, a little bit like the Millbank prison, also in London. And interestingly, talking of prisons, here on Sark there is one of the world's smallest prisons, built in 1856. So we're going to take a little visit to that prison. So this is the tiny prison on the island of Sark. Let's go and take a look. So here I am standing outside this little tiny prison in Sark, which has just 2 cells. It was built in 1856. And it is one of the smallest prisons in the world, and it's still open, it's still used. But there's one story I read about it, and it concerns a young girl who stole a handkerchief from her mistress back in Victorian times, and she was sentenced to 3 days in here. Now there are no windows, and she was terrified of the dark, so the locals let her put her chair in the corridor near the door so that she could see out of this grate here. And then apparently the local women sat around on chairs and knitted and spoke to her while she served her 3-day sentence for stealing a handkerchief. So I'd better behave myself or I might end up in the prison. And lastly, the third item I'm going to talk to you about before we go and have a little look around this island is this piece of pottery here, which is in fact part of an old sugar cone, and it dates back to the 17th century, possibly up to the early 19th century. I consulted with my professor of pottery expert Richard Hemery, and he confirmed that indeed it does come from a sugar cone, and he said that as it's quite small it would have been for really sort of high class sugar. So in its entirety it would have been like a cone with this hole at the bottom here, and the raw syrupy refined sort of sugar would have been poured into here at the top, and as it dripped down into the pot beneath it, it would leave the sugar crystals up here. When the cone was full, the sugar crystals would then be dried out, and when dried they would have been tapped out, a bit like a sandcastle, and you would have been left with a cone of sugar. And then people would be able to take little nips of it off with a sugar nipper and put it in their tea. So before we go off and explore the island a little bit more, I thought I would let you know about a little giveaway. I've been looking in some of the shops here in Sark along the avenue, which is essentially the main road, although when I say road, it's not really like a road as we know it. They're more like little farm tracks because there's no real roads here. It's really like stepping back in time. But there's some lovely little antique shops and little boutiques, and I went in one of them and it had lots of bottles in it, including this one, which was actually found in a hedge here in Sark. So I thought I could do a little giveaway. So if you'd like to be in with a chance to win this lovely torpedo bottle, then put a comment in the comments below saying what you've enjoyed about this video, followed by, I think we'll keep it simple, #Sark. And then in a few weeks time, a couple of weeks time, we'll see who is going to be the lucky winner of this lovely bottle found in a hedge here on this beautiful island not far from Guernsey. So we're going to shoot off now, maybe have an ice cream, maybe jump on a horse and cart and take a little trip around the island. So thanks again for watching. As always, thank you very much for your comments. If you have any information or thoughts about any of the objects you've seen me find today, or if you want any information about Sark, then just put it in the comments below. I'm always delighted to hear from you. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing you again very soon with more adventures in the mud of the Thames or elsewhere, wherever I happen to be. In the meantime, take care. I'm sending you lots of love from here in sunny Sark. Well, that's interesting. There's a cannon over there.
Yeah. Yes. There's a lovely seat as well.
A lovely seat for a little break. Look at that. The cannon.
Oh goodness, look at the view from here. Wow.
Just look at that pool down there.
I know.
That looks so tempting, doesn't it?
It does. It certainly does.
Just below us.
There's a goat. Where's the goat? These are Sark goats, genuine Sark goats. Come say hi, Sark goats. Yes, that's right. Look at you. Oh, I say, getting very friendly now.
I don't know, you should be up on there somehow. I'm not your mummy. No, I'm not your mummy. Come on, off you go. Yeah. 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 You're beautiful. Yes, you are. You're Anglo-Nubian. Did you know that? Right, so you're going to get down? Me? You're going to get down? Come on. Off. No, she said I'm not.
So this monument on the cliffs here at Sark is in memory of Jeremiah Giles Pilcher. It's known as the Pilcher Monument. And so him and some companions embarked in a sailing gig from the bay below this spot at 5 p.m. on the 19th of October 1860 and were all lost during a squall of wind, which soon afterwards arose with heavy rain and thick darkness. This stone of remembrance is erected by the widow and children of the late Jeremiah Giles Pilcher to mark their tender love for so good and excellent a husband and father, and their deep and bitter sorrow for his loss, also to urge upon others, through the grace and mercy of God our Saviour, caution and warning. Thy way is in the sea, and thy path in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known. From the Psalms. Which one? I'm not quite sure. I think this dragonfly is laying its eggs, Mum. It's sort of sitting on the sort of long twig.
You can blame it on my love. I guess my heart is won. All the freedom you've been chasing. What I may have, what I may own, I give it all. Like a desert in the sun. My heart ain't heavy, it ain't heavy. You can walk and you can run. How I wish you knew my heart ain't heavy, it ain't heavy. Will you show me the way? My heart is longing for answering. 'Cause I will wait night and day. You will see in time my heart ain't heavy, it ain't heavy. Like a desert in the sun.